Moscow, Idaho, tucked away among the rolling hills, our very own mountain, field after field of spring wheat. It's a college town.
The students bring a lot of vitality to the area. You know, I think that they keep Moscow young and vibrant.
It's just the kind of place you want to raise your kids.
It's what a small town America should be.
There's a lot of genuinely good people here.
But among all the good, there was an evil.
It was Jason Hamilton, and I said,
you knew him?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That would soon shatter this serene little town.
911 location of emergency.
We got some kind of shooting going on out here.
Where on it? Like direction for me. 911 location of emergency.
I just had a customer walk in and say that he heard gunshots.
911 location of emergency.
I think I could hear gunfire.
Do you know where it's coming from? 911 location of your emergency.
Oh my God, somebody's shooting at the sheriff's department.
I was trying to get the crib down and get the curtains up.
That night, Lieutenant Brandon Jordan had spent his evening playing traffic cop to the controlled chaos of moving.
It was supposed to be the first night in our new house.
Then he got the call. His dispatch, the Leetah County Courthouse and the adjoining sheriff's office were under fire.
What did you tell your wife?
Not to worry, that I'd be back pretty soon. Same thing I always tell her, I guess. Yeah.
Does she have a harder time believing that now?
Oh, yeah.
He's in the parking lot and he's shooting. And she said, oh my God, can you please get the cops here, like, right now? Somebody's like, shooting all around.
That's all I know, is to go try and help.
Like Brandon Jordan, Jay Waters has never hesitated to put on a uniform in service of others.
I'm a Marine. I've been doing that since I was 17 years old.
When he heard the call that night, he was on patrol about 15 minutes outside of town.
I heard a call going out over the radio that the sheriff's office is taking fire. You know how you kind of look at the radio like you don't believe what it just said?
I didn't believe I was actually hearing that. They all retreated to the jail.
Jordan and Waters reached the scene in the heart of Moscow right around the same time. From the shelter of the post office, they could see the entire block ahead of them was under attack, coming from the direction of the First Presbyterian Church. Jason Hamilton was armed with at least 2 rifles, taking aim at the Leetah County Courthouse, the parked vehicles, and tragically at the people responding to the calls of shots fired.
All I knew is that there was an officer down. We didn't know what his status was.
Moscow police officer Lee Newbell was hit coming up 5th Street toward the gunman.
I just said, hey, we got to go get him. Let's use the vehicle. You guys get in the back. I'll pull up, you jump out, you grab him when we go.
So they did. Waters behind the wheel of another deputy's personal car, Jordan in the back, and the gunman unloading on anyone he saw.
I just drove up, pointed the car directly at the church to keep it between bad guy and them. They jumped out, grabbed Lee, and of course I'm yelling, you know, we gotta go, we gotta go.
It all happened so fast, too fast.
Jay went to make a turn, and when he stopped, you know, there just wasn't enough room in the back of the Expedition, and I fell out. Well, I'm standing right under the streetlight, and they're speeding away.
He immediately ran for cover, miraculously finding another officer's weapon that was dropped while under attack.
I scooped it up like a gift from God. You know, I picked up the shotgun, and I figured, well, I'm still in the fight. Got down behind a tree and just waited.
Waiting for his chance, for the one shot that could end this rampage. But Jason Hamilton fired first. The pain was instant.
I could feel my back getting warm, and I could feel the blood, you know, running down my back. I'd seen a lot of shootings, a lot of gunshot wounds, and I knew where I'd been hit was not good. I was bleeding pretty bad, and things were getting a little fuzzy, you know, things were getting kind of the tunnel vision. I said, oh God, not like this. Not murdered, you know, no, my wife is home. Brand new baby, not like this.
When we come back, first responders face their second life or death decision.
Lieutenant, you could have easily been killed
Oh, sure.
out there during
Sure.
the rescue.
Sure.
Why did you do it?
All while the death toll continues to climb.
And I said, has anybody checked on Crystal?
Plus, police face tough questions about how they handled the shooting that night.
I've had some criticism critiquing our tactics.
The answers in part 2 of our special report, Prayers for the Fallen.
It wasn't until we were actually at the hospital, dragging Lee in the hospital, that I hear on the radio, Brandon on the radio saying, I've been hit.
When Waters and the other officers at the hospital realized Jordan had been left behind, they had a decision to make.
I didn't hesitate. I just said, let's go.
And just like that, they drove directly back here to the danger zone.
When we drove up there, I fully expected to get shot at.
They come skidding up. I stuck out my arm, and next thing I know, I'm looking at the ceiling.
Blood was everywhere. The pain, both physical and emotional, excruciating.
Went into the ER, and they started cutting my uniform off me. And I asked about Lee, and of course I knew anyway, but he was laying right next to me.
Officer Lee Newbill murdered in the line of duty. U of I student Pete Hussman fighting for his life after he too was randomly gunned down. And from there, the body count and heartbreak just kept piling up.
It was awful.
Jordan's superiors briefed him in recovery. In addition to Lee Newbill, church caretaker Paul Bauer was also dead. But they weren't Jason Hamilton's first victims.
I said, has anybody checked on Crystal?
Jason's wife, Crystal Hamilton, had been the first one killed. As the beloved custodian for the Latah County Courthouse, Jordan knew her.
She was just wonderful, and she was very bubbly, very happy. Everybody loved her.
In all, Hamilton fired some 200 shots, with the final bullet ending his own life. It was later determined that he had been suicidal for months before his shooting spree. The days, the weeks, the years since that horrific May night have gotten easier in some ways, harder in others.
I'm not the same. Everybody that was on that call is not the same. I don't think there's a lot of people in our community that aren't the same. I've had some criticism critiquing our tactics, that if you're under sniper fire or in a snipering area, you don't let yourself be drawn in by another casualty. And, to that I just say there are no acceptable losses in law enforcement. We went to get Lee. We risked it to go get Lee.
And they risked it all for the people and the places they still call home.
Why do you love this town?
Oh, man. I just do. I mean, you're from Moscow, right?
I'm from
right?
Moscow,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you love Moscow?
I love it.
Why?
It's our town.
Yeah.
In Moscow, I'm Haley Gunther, KHQ Local News.